The 2024 season of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire started almost 6 months ago. Of course, with spring training at NOLA Motorsports Park, then the race at St. Petersburg, and back to NOLA for the drivers here in USF Juniors. Hello, race fans. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of this program, and we are here at Portland International Raceway for Championship Weekend. 8 races on the docket here throughout a Friday and a Saturday before we find out who the champions are going to be for 2024. We'll start it all off with race number 1 for USF Juniors. Joining me here today, a couple of drivers in Juniors. We'll start with Leonardo Scorpioni from Zanello Racing. Big day, of course, testing yesterday to get the car dialed in. You guys have never been here before. How did testing go for you?
I mean, testing went pretty good. We tried a lot of things with the car, finding out the right setup, and just learning the track, because it's almost, I think, everyone's first time here in Juniors, and just seeing how the track grips up and how the track improves throughout the day.
I often talk about how everybody has a different story in this series. Brand new driver, 14 years of age, just getting started on his journey, and you're battling for a position in the top 10. In the second half of the season, you started to pick things up. Do you feel that going for the top 10 position? Do you feel like you're really starting to pick up momentum?
Yeah, I mean, these past few races, I've been really picking up the pace and just getting quicker almost every race. Just learning how to race with these guys, as it's obviously my first year ever racing cars, and just getting to grips on how it's racing Formula cars. It's a lot different compared to go-karting, and just seeing how everything goes. So,
a different racetrack too, yeah. Right? Let's talk. You've run VIR, you've run Road America, Mid-Ohio. What's this track feel like compared to the ones you've been on this year?
Feels really similar to Virginia. Really high speed. You got to turn in really early for a lot of corners and carry a lot of speed and always be on throttle.
Just 14 years of age, Leonardo Scorpioni going for a top 10 in USF Juniors this year. Little different, the driver beside me here, Augie Soto Sharipa, who's been a race winner on the season already for Inter MS, 24 years of age, with an opportunity to get this career rolling. Augie, you come in with a long shot at the championship. You can still do it if you sweep the weekend and have maybe a little bit of luck. Overall, when you look back at the year so far, how's it been?
It's been fantastic. Honestly, it's been a huge learning curve for me and the team itself. We're feeling pretty confident into this weekend. Like you said, I just need a little bit of luck for sure. Road America and VIR definitely didn't go my way after a good start to the weekend. So, I mean, we'll see. The times right now and yesterday in practice were really tight. So we'll see how we do in the qualifying, but we feel pretty confident.
I think one thing for every driver here this weekend is going to be the Festival Corner, right? 1, 2, and 3 is such a crazy start. What are your thoughts? It's really just reacting to what everybody else does.
Yeah, I mean, on the track walk yesterday, just at a first glance, you could tell that the track's super narrow, so it's not going to be a lot of side-by-side racing. I think that if we can all just agree on getting through the first corner, pretty respectfully, we could put on a good show. Turn 1 is going to be for sure the passing zone during this weekend. Turn 7 as well. Just trying to keep it clean and trying to finish all 3 races this weekend.
I know obviously you're looking at this weekend, right? A triple header for USF Juniors, potential to win the championship, but you're also thinking long-term, I believe. Inter MS, fantastic operation. You guys have had a great season. Are we thinking USF 2000 next year, or is that even in the mindset yet?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's in the plans. The number one thing is right now I'm focused on this weekend, focusing in the moment, trying to finish the year as best as I can. Like you said, I mean, if everything goes our way, we could potentially fight for the championship. That for sure would be my dream, and my goal starting this year was to win that championship. As you know, Inter MS has helped me get this right to race this year. So aside from winning, I also have it pretty clear in my head that I need to bring the car back in one piece for sure this weekend.
Augie, last question. What do you got to do to win?
Keep it on the racetrack. That's it.
Keep it on the racetrack. To finish first, you must finish. We're going to wrap things up here on this weekend here for this 2024 season, but lots of racing still to come, as I said. The first of 3 races for USF Juniors about set to go. When we get back from this break, I'll give you the full driver lineup.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And to handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue. from Honda.
Oh, what an interesting morning we have here at Portland International Raceway as we get set for the first of what will be 8 races for the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire here throughout a Friday and a Saturday. It is championship weekend for the drivers here in all 3 of the categories, but for USF Juniors, we have ourselves an interesting situation. For those of you who tuned in for qualifying this morning here on the YouTube channel or the mobile app, USF Juniors in a wet session, very wet session after rain throughout the morning, but that rain kind of had stopped when that session started, and over the last 3 sessions with juniors qualifying and practice for both USF 2000 USF Pro 2000, which of course was not broadcast, this track has dried out significantly. I believe we're in a situation right now that it is been declared a wet race. So that's one of the interesting things now. That means these drivers will have to roll off with the Continental rain tires. You have to do at least 1 lap on the rain tires before you come in to go to dries. What's that going to mean? Because this racetrack, I'm telling you, there are a lot of dry components to this track right now. It's very interesting how this could play out. The AMR IndyCar safety crew rolling out and around the track right now. So being told the cars now being sent from the pit lane, the false grid in the far part of the racetrack, right by turn 11 and 12 as we are paddocked here this weekend at Portland International Raceway. A very tight schedule as well. We have jammed a lot of racing in here. We don't have a lot of time between the sessions. Normally, we may be ready to go racing right now already, but having the cars leave pit lane and then get the other cars to roll out here, we are actually... again, looking at the way time's kind of going to play out here. Those cars just starting to roll out here right now. We are set to go for an 11:15 green flag, so still lots of time here. But based on at least the schedule, we're only 4 minutes away from firing up the engines. Let's have a look at the grid as these cars do work out here right now. 21 drivers set to go here in the USF Juniors category. Let's have a look at the grid. Starting from the tail of the field in the row number 11, number 21 on the grid, J.T. Hoskins, and only his 3rd start here in USF Juniors for Jay Howard Driver Development. That number 6 machine for Hoskins out of Sarasota, Florida, starting 21st. Row number 10 will have Griffin Yellen on the outside, the Skip Barber Formula Race Series regular in the number 7 machine. Yellen from New York, New York. He'll start his 2nd event, ran at Road America as well. Griffin Yellen in the number 7, starting in the 20th spot. Alongside Hudson Potter out of Virginia for Inter MS in the number 26. Joined that team at Road America. The last race we had in the USF Junior schedule, and is picking up some speed here as well. Potter going to start in 19th. Row number 9 will have Michael Succo out of Birmingham, Alabama for VRD Racing in the number 10 on the outside. Inside, Timmy Carell, the Californian for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 8, set to roll off 17th. Row number 8, João Vergara for Exclusive Autosport, the Brazilian now living in Miami, Florida. In the number 90, going to start in the 16th spot. Alongside him, his teammate Evan Cooley out of Illinois in the number 91. Exclusive Autosport, 15th and 16th on row number 8. Moving up to row number 7, Diego Guillo, the Texan for Zanello Racing on the outside, starting 14th in the number 12. And on the inside, there he is, he's right there. That's the number 12 of Guillo. Alongside him, the number 20 for D-Force Driver Development. That is Rodrigo Gonzalez, the Mexican, in the number 20 machine. We'll go up to row number 6. Definitely a driver to watch out for here right now. Augusto Soto Chiripa, a winner on the season at VIR. He's 6th place in points coming in. Soto Chiripa in the number 24 for Inter MS, starting in the 12th position alongside G3 Argyros, the Californian for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 63. 7th place in points for G3. We'll go now up into the top 10. Row number 5 on the outside, Patricio Gonzalez. The other half of the Gonzalez sibling duo for D-Force Driver Development. Best start of the year for Gonzalez. Patricio in the number 19. He'll start in the 10th spot. Pato having a good run here. Alongside him, driver finished 3rd place in the points last year, rolling in here P5 with an outside shot at winning the championship. That is Jack Jeffers, the Texan for Exclusive Autosport in the number 92. He'll start in the 9th position. Row number 4 now. Out of California, Northern California to be exact, Sonoma. It's Christian Cameron in the number 70 for VRD Racing, starting in the 8th position. Alongside him, Ariel Elkin from Israel for Inter MS. 2 times a winner this year, actually 3 times, 2 races at Barber Motorsports Park and a victory at Road America as well. 2nd place in points coming in, 40 behind Max Taylor. Ariel Elkin needs a win here today in race number 1. Going now to row number 3 on the outside, Leonardo Scorpioni. From Zanella Racing in the 55. starting in the 6th spot there, just 14 years of age, and has really turned things on over the second half of the season. He joined Augusto Soto-Chiripa and myself for the pre-show here earlier on in the broadcast. He'll start alongside Joshua Leonel, 2 times the runner-up in the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. The Texan has been impressive over the second half of the season. P5 starting spot for Leonel in the D-Force Racing number 15. Row number 2 will have Brady Golan on the outside, running both USF Juniors and USF 2000 here this weekend, as he has done throughout the season. The D-Force Racing number 18 will start on the outside of row number 2. P4 starting spot for Brady Golan. And alongside him, a name that a lot of IndyCar drivers know, Sebastian Weldon, the son of the late Dan Weldon for VRD Racing. He's won on the season so far. He's still in the championship fight, currently sitting 3rd. That is Sebastian Weldon in the number 98, starting in 3rd. 21 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. On the outside from England, multi-time winner on the season as well. Currently 4th place in points. Liam McNeely for Jay Howard Driver Development, going to start in that 2nd position in the number 9. Again, he needs to get some victories here to see if he can't close up on the driver starting on the pole. Already a bonus point here, $500 for the Continental Tire Pole Award. Max Taylor from Hoboken, New Jersey for VRD Racing. And as I said, a 40-point lead for Max Taylor coming into a triple header weekend. 40 points up, but 99 points available. If a driver comes in and sweeps, actually only 98 points available now, as he's taken that pole position and has grabbed the first of the 99 points. So Taylor's going to start from pole alongside McNeely, Weldon, and Golan on row number 2. And again, watching the rest of the field, a Leonel and a Scorpione row 3, Elkin and Cameron row 4. Engines are firing up, folks, on pit lane. 8 races, as I said for you here. And unusual for the weekend here at Portland, we have 4 races for you on Friday. Normally for the ARC categories, usually just practice and qualifying here on a Friday, but with us running Friday and Saturday, we're going to give you 3 races here. 1 right now, a couple of qualifying sessions still to come for 2000 and Pro 2000, and they'll wrap up the day with 3 straight races. But this is the driver they are chasing. As I said before, this race declared officially wet. That means they have to start on the rain tires, but they're able to change. And that's the key right now. A rapidly drying racetrack. We're going to see pit lane action, where most of these crews, the only time they're going to see the drivers come into pit lane is if there's a mistake, if there's an incident, if there's damage. That's when the drivers will come to pit lane. There's going to be action here today. Every one of these crew members is going to have some action when they come in. We don't have an IndyCar-style pit stop. We don't have 6.5, 7-second pit stops. It takes a lot longer with the amount of people that are allowed over the wall. They'll do the front tires first, then the rears. Some of these teams with 3 or 4 cars are going to have to wait. They can't pit everybody at the same time. There's just no manpower for that. So this is going to make things super exciting for sure as we get set to go. All right, folks, let's quickly have a look at the top 5 in the points here right now. Max Taylor, as I said before, leading in the points, 281 points. Ariel Elkin with 241 points, so a 40-point difference between first and second. Sebastian Weldon just 5 points behind Elkin in third. Liam McNeely in fourth, 5 more points in arrears. And then Jack Jeffers, as I said, 71 points behind, but there is 99 points up for grabs. Jeffers would have to grab a couple of race wins, if not sweep the weekend. And then, of course, Max Taylor up front would have to run into issues as well. That is your top 5. But let's have a look at the track map as well here at Portland. Turn number 1, one of the toughest ones we have on the circuit. The Festival Chicane, right-hand turn 1, left-hand turn 2, and then the right-hand sweeping turn 3 that leads out over to turn 4. Then we have that sweeping part of the racetrack, 5, 6, 7. Long duration corners. Drivers have to hold on there just to be able to keep that power down. 7, one of the most crucial corners on the racetrack as well. That leads onto the long back straightaway, which has a kink of turn number 8, a sweep of turn number 9, back down in to a very fun complex. 10, 11, 12. The drivers will roll as much corner speed as they possibly can into the corner, get up over the curbing as well. We are not going to go have a start here right now. We're not going to have a start here right now, as we can see a driver has spun. I saw that spin on the outlap, so one of the drivers having trouble there. Maybe one of the D-Force driver development cars. Again, that is turn number 6, as I had said. Coming out of that corner, you can see they just kind of lost the rear end of the car a little bit. I think that it may be the 20 car right now of Rodrigo Gonzalez, who has gone around. So Gonzalez having some trouble there. I would expect either high centered on the track. I don't know what will be wrong with the car at this point from a light spin, but the field will work their way around here now. There's the best shot that we have of Gonzalez down into turn number 6. Again, whether he's high centered on a curb or potentially a mechanical issue with him, try to get it refired. The AMR IndyCar safety crew will get out to him as quickly as possible to find out and assess the damage or whatever the situation is. I would expect there's a possibility that we may have already started the race. We may be calling this lap number 1. We occasionally do that when we have an issue like that. This could be lap number 1 in the books. But nonetheless, getting things underway here, folks. An issue early. We'll go green this next time by, ideally, but we may not. Whether or not they're able to get that car rolling. One of the things, of course, this track, guys, not as long as some of the tracks we're on, so the laps click by pretty quickly. Those of you who will be joining us throughout the weekend here on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel, I won't be the only voice that you're going to hear as well, because I'm joined by the voices of the event, Bobby Corser and Phil Martelli. Guys, thank you so much again for being part of the broadcast. Great to have you here with us. Bobby and Phil, your race, what are your thoughts on final? Hey, we're going wheel to wheel already. It's not even noon on a Friday.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, we've seen cars spun out, going through the practice and the qualifying earlier today to get the field set for this, and some of the other races we've seen, it's incredible. You know, wet dynamics, and as we've talked about a lot already, you put one tire off and it's already going to go sideways. We saw cars going down the front stretch here just trying to dive for some of those puddles, and they're already getting sideways even on the front stretch. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race.
Well, I'll say this for the drivers. Yeah, we would like to have gone green the first time around, but really probably a good opportunity for these drivers to get a better feel for the racetrack. You know, when we go green, we leave the pits, we're going green the first time around, right? We're not driving around for a bunch of laps. So this is going to give them a chance. I called it reconnaissance laps earlier in the day here today. So a chance for them to get out here, get a feel for the track a little bit. And again, there's a lot of dry racetrack. You're going to see these guys diving to the inside wherever they can to potentially get some water. And they're all coming down to the bottom part of the racetrack already on the opening lap just to try to cool off these rain tires a little bit. There's the 33. That is Max Taylor. He is your point leader, doing double duty all year long, running both USF Juniors and USF 2000. Liam McNeely behind him. And again, those of you who've watched motorsports, you realize one of the key things about a race in the wet, not only is it about the traction and where you're going to find traction, where the race line is, but obviously huge about visibility as well. One of the biggest things about running in the rain is the rooster tails. And I can tell you from experience, when you're in a cockpit like this, open cockpit, man, Phil, it's so tough to see.
And Rob, crew chief decision, when are we going to change tires?
You know what? That feedback is going to come from the driver first, right? They've talked about it. Hey, what do you think? And I guarantee they're on the radio right now in a big way. Every one of the drivers, all 21 of these drivers are feeding back right now to their team. Can we go dry? Is the fast line, is the line going to be there? The beauty of this is they're going to have the reins on for turn number 1 and 2 and 3 because they're going to be too wide. Once you get settled into single file racing, everybody can stay on the racing line. The opening through, they're going to be side by side, maybe 2, 3, 4 wide, maybe into turn number 1, we don't know. So once they get through that opening lap, they're going to be on the radio like crazy, and it's going to come down to the drivers. Some drivers aren't going to be comfortable. Other drivers, maybe more experienced, are going to say, I'm ready, let's do this deal. So, and again, the crazy thing, Phil, is that there's not enough manpower to bring everybody in at once on a team. You're going to have to stagger the guys that come into pit lane.
And you got to make it through turns 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's the one thing as well. We'll bring that out for those of you who maybe didn't listen to qualifying. A new rule here for this year. Many years, you watch the video some years past, drivers would come down in the start, not even try to make the corner, because if there was an incident, they would cut the course. If you cut the course, you are going to go to the tail of the field. You either have to drop to the tail of the field, or it's going to be a drive-through penalty. So again, a different mindset for these young drivers of how they're going to approach the festival chicane, turns 1, 2, and 3. You have to make it to the right side of the turn 2 apex. If you do not, you're going to go to the tail of the field. So we'll see how it all plays out. Drivers on the outside are in the toughest position here because you're going to have to make sure you get back to the right side of the racetrack. Everybody has to play nice. Portland, as we know, the starts have been chaotic. We've seen championships decided over the chaos and incidents in the start. Everybody's got to mind their P's and Q's. They'll come out of the final corner. Everybody's settling back into position. The first of 8 races on the weekend here at Portland. Time to get going. Championship weekend for the USF Pro Championships. Field looking good. Aaron Likens in the stand, and we are green, green, green. The race down into turn number 1. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes the number 33. They'll go 4. How about 5? Make it 6 wide coming into turn number. Oh, there's contact there. Jack Jeffers is going to go off, and I think Jeffers is going to have to take the cut through. He'll have to fall to the very tail of the field. We just talked about that. Another driver around. One of the inter MS guys gets wrecked. That is Hudson Potter, spun from the rear. Somebody got to the back of Hudson Potter coming out of that corner and looped him around. Otherwise, drivers clean and green coming through. I expect they're going to tell Jack Jeffers to fall to the tail of the field because he did not make that corner, and that was one of the key incidents. You have to get through to the right side of the curbing in turn number 2. Clean start otherwise, though. Pretty solid launch to the race. Max Taylor goes into P1, not surprisingly, and a lot of crazy racing, Bobby, further back.
Oh, it's been what a great start, but most of the guys made it through there cleanly. A couple cars spun, as you said, but they're still battling as we now go through the back course here through 8, 9, and 10. Guys are side by side, wheel to wheel. Nobody is giving up stuff, but you're seeing cars now having to search for those puddles, keep those rain tires cool until they're able to come in and put the slicks on.
So I think the key thing right now is race control will very likely be talking to Jack Jeffers. He's the driver who went off, but does he have to fall all the way to the very, very back with a couple of drivers who had incidents and maybe have spun around? How far back does he have to go? That will come from race control. One driver coming into pit lane already. Not sure who that was. Another into pit lane. So it's a drive-through. Yeah, a drive-through for Jack Jeffers. Jeffers is coming in. So he's falling to the tail of the field, but I think they're going to put slick tires on for Jeffers. So this isn't going to play out as badly as they come across the line for the first time. We're underway. Taylor, your leader. Weldon runs in second. Gold in third. Elk in fourth. And Liam McNeely, top 5. Couple drivers into pit lane already. Jack Jefferson, I think maybe Joshua Leonel as well. And I talked about the fact that it would be the feedback from the driver saying, hey, I can do this. For Jeffers, maybe more situational. He was going to have to fall to the tail of the field anyways for not getting through the racetrack in turn 1, 2, and 3, taking the chicane escape route instead. So why not capitalize, serve the penalty by falling to the tail of the field? Let's get those tires changed. So a good call there for the crew of Exclusive Autosport to get Jeffers into pit lane. Now, how does that play out? We're going to look at lap times when they get back out here. I'll say this, they've lost a lot of ground on the racetrack, Bobby, but the bottom line is the way this track is here, somebody's lost a front wing. We'll come back to you, Bobby, in a second. We've lost a front wing in the battle coming down. That was one of the front battles. That is one of the Inter-MS cars. That might have been Ariel Elkin. Second place in points. He needed to win, and he has lost his front wing. Action here early in USF Juniors. And Elkin's going to come in to get that. They're going to put a wing on, and they're going to change the tire. So a lot of action here again. Man, this is wild stuff here today already to get things underway. This race, 15 laps with a 40-minute window, 15-lapper. And again, you see that we've worked a couple of laps already simply because of the fact that we had those yellow laps. So 4 in the books right now. A number of drivers already in the pit lane. You're going to see drivers fall laps behind. Jack Jeffers, Joshua Lena are going to go a couple laps back because it takes a long time to get these tires changed. And we know our lap times are quick, second and a half, a minute and a half. So guys are going to fall laps back, but when everybody comes into pit lane, Bobby, that's where I was going with this. Eventually, everybody's going to have to go into pit lane. Jack Jeffers already back out onto the racetrack.
It's a gamble early, but as you said, it's beneficial for him because already have fallen to the back of the field. Let's take the time. Let's get the slicks on. Let's make sure the car is good to go, and now let's go attack, and they can do that.
So there you have there another driver into pit lane getting work done there. That is the number 8 of Timothy Carell. Timmy Carell into pit lane, and you're going to have a look here. Again, there's only so many drivers, or so many crew over the wall. We do have a driver slowed coming out of turn number 6 over to turn number 7 off the racetrack. Another driver with an issue. So there's Timmy Carell, the crew going to work. And he's got a good opportunity to see rear tires first. The quick jack goes down. They'll come back around to the front, quick jack it back up. Only 3 people across the wall, a jack man and 2 tire changers. So they'll come back to the front. Being told an issue between the 55 of Scorpione and the 19 of Patricio Gonzalez. So a number of drivers in the pit lane. Leonel back out, Carell back out. So let's start the weekend off with a little bit of excitement. There's that driver off the racetrack there. We have a full course yellow for a driver off the racetrack. Not quite sure who that is at this point. I don't know. It might be the 55 of a Scorpione off coming out of turn number 6 to turn number 7. I don't know what the call is right now in terms Like with this full course yellow, the drivers could come in and they're not going to lose laps. That's the key. This could be horrible for Lionel, Jeffers, Carell, who all came in to change, or will they cycle back around as the leader? So we did have an issue of a driver in turn number 1. Let's have a look at that replay. There has been a lot of action here in the opening couple of laps. So again, turn number 1, we saw a bit of action there. This is a shot from right on the inside of the corner there. It's the shot there of Elkin with no wing. As he's rolling through there with no wing. You see the drivers are different approach. Some of them a little bit onto the apex, others all over. That's Timmy Carell. That's the number 8 of Timmy Carell who came in and put tires on. I don't know whether or not he potentially could have the new tires on already. Yeah, I think he may have had the fresh rubber on already. He knows he's got to get back around. So look at everybody else coming back into pit lane. So a number of drivers into pit lane here on the yellow. The key is for guys like Jeffers, Lionel, and Carell, I have a feeling that the speed of this lap could mess them up. They may not be able to get back around enough to get their laps back. You know what I'm saying, Phil? That's the issue, right? Because these guys have a lot slower lap to go around when they're changing tires.
Do you think changing tires was the issue why he spun around?
Well, for Carell, yeah, he 100% was on the fresh rubber. And again, you're out there with slicks, not in the reins, and if you're just in the wrong spot or didn't have the rubber or didn't have the grip turning in, the car went around on him. This is the Jay Howard crew going to work here on the number 9 of Liam McNeely, again, one of our championship contenders. Ariel Elkin came into pit lane as well. As I said, a quick change as the 33's back out. Jeffers came back in the number 92. I wonder whether or not they made him serve his penalty at that point. I don't know how that played out. A lot of permutations in what's happening here trackside.
So you have to do a drive-through and go to the tail end.
Well, again, that wasn't stipulated, the way it kind of played out, right? He didn't make the corner at the start, as we said. He essentially has to fall to the tail of the field. He did that, but while pitting to get the tires changed. Race control may have said, okay, that's not enough. That's not enough of a penalty, and you can't capitalize on the penalty. I'm not obviously in race control right now. That's something we can unpack when the race is done. Otherwise, drivers working their way around here now. G3 Argyros has gone to the front. Augusto Soto Sharipa in second. Christian Cameron third. Diego Guillo in fourth. Griffin Yellen fifth. Leonardo Scorpioni, the driver that was involved. Not sure whether or not he was able to refire. Quick look down where I am right now at the end of pit lane. João Vergara for Exclusive Autosport in the number 9. He has his tires changed. He's back out. There's the car there of Elkin. He has not yet changed the front wing. Another one of the Inter-MS cars pulling into pit lane. There's the 24 right now, Soto Sharipa. He's potentially now the leader. I think G3 Argyros made a move into pit lane. There's a 7 of Griffin Yellen. That's the 26 of Hudson Potter, who got hit from behind coming out of turn number 2 and looped around. Number 10 of Michael Suko now into pit lane as well. BRD crew going to work. Again, this is not something these guys practice because we rarely have this kind of a transition situation. As you see there, good look there as the wheel lug goes on, then you got to get that pin in it as well. If the pin doesn't go in, you don't leave pit lane. So a little bit of help there for the right sides. Again, car's not set up for quick pit stops. Crew's not set up as well, having a little bit of trouble there with the left rear, or the right rear rather. Left rear almost on as well. Super close, and Suko will be able to get back out. Christian Cameron back on track. Suko rolling out there in the sticker Continental. So still an issue. So there's obviously going to be some damage to Scorpioni's cars that had to go up on the hook, not going to roll back as well. So they've got that cleaned up. I would expect we'll go back around one more time. I don't know that we'll be able to go green this time by Bobby, but maybe one more lap under yellow.
Anybody want to take a gamble of not bailing for pit lane and getting the slicks on?
Yeah, well, the top 4 drivers did that. Augusto Soto Sharipa, Griffin Yellen, JT Hoskins, and Hudson Potter all cycling to the front. They did not come in to get tires changed. And, for a driver like Soto Sharipa, who's on an outside shot at winning the championship. So you go back to Max Taylor in 5th, Sebastian Weldon 6th, 7th, Liam McNeely. Those drivers all changed. he can find track, right? We're already, we'll put lap 8 in the books when they come back around. There's only 7 more to go. What if we get another yellow? Track position maybe for Soto Sharipa because he started a little further down the order, right? So definitely rolling the dice. But again, with a track that has tough conditions like this that could bring in another yellow, we bang out another 2, 3, 4 yellow laps. It's all about track position right now for the guys up front.
Yeah, a couple more people diving in for pit lane as we watch them come down the front straight. But again, where's that fine line between that gamble of, hey, maybe, we sneak one out here. Maybe we run the risk of other guys, going off the track, as you said, because the guys that have the racing slicks on, those tires are not warm. Yes, there is a racing line now established, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have the best grip in every part of the cars.
Soto Sharipa, 80 points back in the championship, right? So the key for him is that he needs to do whatever. He's got to win, right? So he started 12th, take full advantage of it. See what he's got to roll the dice to try to win this race. I'm told by our control here that we may have had a sketchy situation involving the pace car. Let's have a look at this replay. I'll pick it up as well myself. So you can see the pace car out here to the right. One driver, this driver is trying to get his lap back, I believe. Comes to the inside. Pace car having to check up a little bit. That was Joao Vergara, and I understand that 100%. I'm surprised that the pace car didn't check there a little bit. He's going to go to the outside. Vergara had to check it up. He's trying to keep himself on the lead lap. That's what that was, or at least save a lap for Joao Vergara. I don't know exactly what race control is going to say about that, but again, listen, how many times have you seen that where you're trying to beat the pace car back out?
Oh, a lot.
Right?
You where was it? But
yep,
that was a little too close for comfort.
It was tight because I'll tell you, the Honda pace car versus the USF Juniors car, I think the Honda's going to come out in better
100%.
shape. That was a great partnership that we started earlier this year with Honda, with their new Honda Civic Type R as our pace car. So,
and a beautiful ride.
Oh, it's such a nice car.
Shades of Scott Goodyear in Indianapolis. But
wow, all right.
Was that 15 years ago, 16 years ago? A long time.
Oh, way more than that. Way more. Wasn't it in the 80s?
I'm going to have to look that up because that's still one of the most amazing moments in IndyCar racing history.
So here we go. I think we may be going back to green flag. And we're right back at it. One driver's came into pit lane from the front. That is that might have been JT Hoskins, I think, pulling off. Soto Sharipa's going to grab the lead. He's going to keep the car down on the bottom. He gets a great start right now. Timmy Carell now running in the second spot. Green flag flying once again. 9 laps in. We're working lap number 10. Soto Sharipa is going to have to really manage this race and make sure he does what he needs to do to get those rain tires cool. The more time he spends in the wet part of the racetrack to cool those tires down, the better. But as he runs through these long duration corners, turn number 4, 5, 6, and 7, going to burn those tires up big time. He'll be able to, of course, leverage it when he works his way back down the long back straightaway from turn 7 all the way to turn number 10. He'll run away from the racing line to try to cool those tires off. Will it pay off? Because right now, watch that move into second. That's Timmy Carell now running there in the second position. I believe Max Taylor's up into third, although Carell, I think, maybe a lap back. So yeah, Timmy Carell, who runs in the second spot, actually a lap back right now. He needs to reel in. For him, he needs to reel in Soto Sharipa. If he then goes by, he doesn't take the lead, but he takes back and puts himself back on the lead lap, and then would, of course, at that point, need a yellow flag. The drivers who are a lap back, Hoskins, Yellen, Carell, Gonzalez, and Jeffers. Tough one for Jack Jeffers making that call to come in. I believe they may not have allowed him to use the penalty to change tires. Might have been better for him to come in and serve the drive-through first. Again, I don't know whether or not, I'll have to figure this out. I'm not sure whether or not we have more yellow flags. Yellow flag, once again, another caution here. Unsure where the incident is on the racetrack, but another caution here. Starting lap number 11. Another driver in turn number 6, well off over there. That looks to potentially be, that's a long way away. Is that one of the Inter-MS cars? I'm not quite sure who that is. It could be one of the Inter-MS cars. That's a possibility. Again, tough here as they're going to work to grab that car. And again, is this going to play into the hands of Augusto Soto Sharipa? He is the leader right now. Max Taylor running in second, Liam McNeely third, Sebastian Weldon fourth, and Brady Golan in fifth. Again, only 13 drivers remain on the lead lap. Argyros, Hoskins, Yellen, Carell, and Jeffers. Now, okay, that wasn't one of the Inter-MS cars. That was the number 20 of Rodrigo Gonzalez. He's the driver who had spun on the outlap. Another issue over in turn number 6 for Rodrigo Gonzalez to bring another yellow out. The key is, will this allow the opportunity for Soto Sharipa to come away with a race win? He's doing whatever he can to get those tires cooled down. Max Taylor would love to see a restart to see if he can't dive right back by him. So the field will work its way down here right now. Everybody, again, watch, they're all taking so different lines, trying to see if they can't cool the tires. Look at that. That's way to the outside for Soto Sharipa, trying to find moisture wherever he possibly can. He knows he's coming down to the puddles here as well. Yeah, cooling those rains down. Hey, the bottom line is track position, guys. It's helped Soto Sharipa. He started 12th. He cycles himself to the front, gets the yellow flags he wants. Even if we go back to green and a couple guys are able to get by him, he's doing the best he can to try to maximize the result in a tough situation.
Absolutely, and he's taking advantage of the situation given, as you said. I think it's smart, though. I mean, he knows where the puddles are. He's going to intentionally put his car in the spot. Reduce speeds, not worrying about where right now. We've got 4 to go. Will be 3 to go when they cross the line. Still under a full course caution. Probably 2 laps, maybe?
Yeah.
2-lap shootout?
I always say that the AMR IndyCar safety team, best in the business as we know, they get this done quick. And you can see already, they've already got the car up on the hook already. So they're going to get him somewhere quick. I don't think we'll go green this time by because they're going to have to get him to somewhere safe. They may even try to get him if they have a full lap back to the paddock area. That's a possibility. But that is, again, Rodrigo Gonzalez.
And pace car stayed on pit lane. It has not gone out. So
that's very interesting. The fact that we did not have the pace car out for this one here. They essentially called it down to Augusto Soto Sharipa to handle this situation. So again, I don't know whether we go green this time by. The big thing for Soto Sharipa is he's got the lap car of Timmy Carell in there as well. Yeah, we're still cleaning up here. So we're not going to go green. It looks like they brought him back out and got him refired. I think they pulled him out of the gravel trap and dropped him back down. So yeah, indeed, Gonzalez continuing. There he is right there. So they got him fired back up again. There's going to be 3 laps to go when they come back around here now. This is lap number 12 in the books across the line, I believe. Yep. So there's 3 laps to go. Man, I knew we were going to have some excitement and an intriguing story and some permutations, but this is not what I expected.
Now, Rob, as a race fan that's seeing this series for the first time, do you go green to the checkered, or can you finish under a caution?
We can finish under the caution for sure. We'll do everything we can to have at least 1 green flag at the end, even if at time we will potentially red flag to try to get a couple laps, because we have a big window, right? We have a 40-minute window to run this race in. It's only a 15-lapper, so a lot of time in the window to get it done. Green flag next time by, I'm being told, so it's going to be a 2-lap dash. Augusto Soto Sharipa looking to try to find another race win. He scored a victory at VIR. He's got 5 podiums on the year, currently sitting 6th spot in points. Doing whatever he can to potentially try to battle with Max Taylor. Taylor in 3rd's in a good spot, but right behind him is Liam McNeely. He has to finish in front of Taylor as well, so I think McNeely's going to get super aggressive. Liam McNeely is back by 50 points. He cannot let Taylor pull away. There's 3 races on the docket. If Taylor leads by 67 points at the end of this race, he clinches the championship. Because with only 66 points left, even if somebody's perfect, they're not going to be able to catch him. I don't think that's going to happen now. Where's Ariel Elkin in the points on the track? He's back in 12th. You know what? It's a possibility still. That's the crazy thing. So this is going to go into the hands right now of Soto Sharipa. He needs to get those tires nice and cool before he works them down the straightaway. We're back at it. Green flag already flying at start finish. He'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack. Timmy Carell to the top side. I think a big jump here as well. Yeah, we're going to go 3 wide. Check this out. Championship contenders McNeely, Weldon, and Taylor. All 3 wide coming in. McNeely's going to go around the outside of Taylor. Weldon's going to stick to the bottom as well. Oh, almost contact through turn number 2. So Taylor gets pushed back a couple. He can be very cautious here right now. He does not need to win. He just needs to rack up a couple of more points. Soto Sharipa's going to try to hold back Carell, but remember, Timmy Carell's just trying to get himself back on the lead lap. Soto Sharipa trying to roll the dice, holding the position. Carell is through, but can McNeely get by as well? He does. McNeely is through. Soto Sharipa holding now on to P3. Taylor in 4th. Weldon 5th. Weldon has to get by Taylor. Watch for him to be super aggressive. Drivers working their way through. Again, they will see, I believe, white flag this next time by. White flag will fly when they come back around. Liam McNeely is now your leader because Carell's a lap back. McNeely is a leader. Soto Sharipa holding on for what will be second place right now. Carell is back into second, so he's no longer on the lead lap. Liam McNeely looking to come away with a victory here, and watch out for more racing. Soto Sharipa, of course, a sitting duck with those rain tires, does not have the grip that he needs. But Weldon going to go after his teammate, Max Taylor. Weldon's going to try to come across the bow. He's able to take the spot. Weldon goes now into the second spot. So Weldon to second. Soto Sharipa back to 4th. Again, for him, he's just trying to do whatever he can right now to hold the spot. McNeely leads. Weldon 2nd, Taylor 3rd, Soto Sharipa 4th, Golan, Gonzalez, Cameron, Cooley, Elkin, Vergara. Top 10. Final lap. Elbows up for Augusto Soto Sharipa on the reins. Just obviously doesn't have the grip. He can't carry the corner speed. But he'll do whatever he can to try to hold a spot. A great roll of the dice for the interim S crew, but this is huge for Liam McNeely. McNeely came in 50 points back, a possibility of making up 5, 6, maybe 7 points on Max Taylor. Taylor's going to be fighting for as much as he can in the end. But Liam McNeely for Jay Howard, scoring a win in Mid-Ohio, his last victory. This would be huge. He had 2 very rough runs at Road America, but he'll roll it on the front straight. Oh, he almost throws it away coming onto the front straight. As they come across the line, checker flag will fly, and Liam McNeely, the British driver, taking first blood in a triple header here at Portland on championship weekend. Weldon comes home in 2nd, 3rd, Taylor, 4th for Brady Golan. Augusto Soto Sharipa on the reins, holds on for 5th. Patricio Gonzalez, his best finish of the year, 6th. Christian Cameron, 7th. Evan Cooley from deep in the field up to 8th. Ariel Elkin, 9th. And Joao Vergara ends up in 10th. Jack Jeffers, 17th after the issue there. Just was not able to get the car turned coming into turn number 1 and 2. There is the results unofficial for race number 1 of USF Juniors. Wow. Huge victory for Liam McNeely. Sebastian Weldon ends up in 2nd, Max Taylor in 3rd. So the difference there, 8 points. So McNeely closes up. So it's not over yet. McNeely, Weldon, Taylor to the podium. Brady Golan, I believe his best finish of the year. He had an 8th and a couple of 9th place finishes. So Golan to P4. Augusto Soto Sharipa holding on for 5th, as I had said. Patricio Gonzalez, definitely his best finish of the year, up into 6th. Great job for Patricio. Christian Cameron, 7th. Evan Cooley, 8th. Ariel Elkin, 9th. And Joao Vergara rounding out the top 10. Remember, Vergara is the one who was able to just sneak out and get in front of the pace car. Diego Guillo in 11th. Michael Succo, his best finish of the year, in 12th. Hudson Potter up to 13th. 14th for JT Hoskins. And again, then Griffin Yell on the last driver on the lead lap. Timmy Carell, Jack Jefferson, Joshua Leonel a lap back. And then the final drivers, GT Argyros and Rodrigo Gonzalez and Leonardo Scorpioni. There is the race winner coming in. Liam McNeely will be thrilled with this one, folks. I guarantee it. He needed the victory. He knows he needs to win all 3 races, to be honest. He's got to do the best he can to sweep the weekend. 30 points. Didn't lead the most laps. I don't know whether or not he has the fast. Oh, he has the fast lap, so that's a bonus point as well. So 31 points for him. 23 points, I believe, for Taylor. So a big one there for Liam McNeely. First of 8 races for you here on the weekend, on the Friday and the Saturday for the USF Pro Championships. The rest of the crew is going to work their way back, because I'm going to run down right now to the podium. We got podium celebrations to happen. I believe while I'm doing that, we may not yet be started with USF 2000 qualifying, but it's coming. And we follow with the USF Pro 2000 qualifying. Bobby Corser, I'm going to leave it in your hands right now. You can throw it down to me when we're ready, but Victory Lane celebrations up next.
Hey, what a great way to start the first race. Phil, I'll bring you in here as well. Entertainment, start to finish. We talk about every year. Festival Curves, the Shelton Chicane, Corner 1, that's where the story's written.
And the weather has had a lot to do with it today. I mean, we didn't see this weather the last, we didn't have the class here last year, of course, but we didn't see the weather in the IndyCar weekend as we're going to see today and even tomorrow possibly.
Right, and again, track is dry, and that's what we've said is going to happen throughout the morning as we start to see the clouds really kind of lighten up, sun kind of starting to peek through in some spots, but we know more rain is coming this afternoon, showers, possible thunderstorms as well, but just get the races in and get them done early, and man, what a great run right there. Man,
yeah, let's don't forget.
Impressive drive.
Exactly. Let's don't forget to remind the fans, though, in about 15 minutes, NTT IndyCar Series autograph session in the speed zone. Now, where can they find the speed zone, Bobby?
Speed zone is the area that lines the front stretch on the outside of the paddock, so on the other side of the track. So it's where you see all of our sponsors, all of our vendors. That is the speed zone. It's where IndyCar merchandise is. So right in that area, that's where they'll be doing the autograph session here coming up in just a few minutes, as you said. Chance to go meet your favorite NTT IndyCar driver. Great times as well. We all love going over to the autograph session. Such a great time. So much energy, so much fun.
Look how young these guys are. We talked about the young age of these drivers and doing autographs on their way through to maybe some future drivers too.
Absolutely.
It's a great series.
Neely, Weldon, and Taylor, great run for those three gentlemen. They'll go over and have the podium celebration here with Rob in a few minutes. But, man, first of many races today. What a great show early on. Just setting the table for the rest of the weekend here at PIR.
A lot of racing today, tomorrow, and then our finals on Sunday.
Cannot wait. But, man, just great. We will, like Rob said, we are going to do victory celebration here in just a few minutes. You'll have a chance to hear from the drivers as well. I want to hear their thoughts. Very challenging course, dynamic weather conditions, changing track from a wet to a dry stance. We saw a couple drivers roll the dice and, not opt to go the racing slicks, stay with the wet tires, and it didn't necessarily pay off. But, some of the other people did gamble, and they decided to come in early and put the slicks on and see how that was able. So it will be interesting to hear Rob talk to them about that. But we're going to see that this afternoon. We're going to see, changing conditions once the rain does kind of come back in here in a little bit. But, man, what a great way to kick off the weekend, like we said.
Oh, this is the most racing we've had on a Friday at Portland International Raceway.
Tons of action here on the Friday. And we're not done. I mean, we look at the remainder of the schedule. We, of course, have USF 2000 qualifying coming up next. Then you have USF Pro 2000 qualifying from 12:55 to 1:25. Indy next on track for the first time. Their first practice 1:45 to 2:30. Then we got a 90-minute session with the NTT IndyCar Series at 2:55 to 4:10. And let's toss it down to Rob Howell. Rob's got the stars of the USF Juniors Series coming off of race number 1. Rob, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate that. And again, our first of what will be 8 races here on the weekend, the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Portland. Excited to get things underway. Championship up for grabs in all 3 categories. As we know, the scholarships, of course, getting awarded once a driver does clinch. But the driver ends up getting the win here today in USF Juniors Race 1. Crucial for him. Let's start with the driver coming home in 3rd spot today. Solid points for your, right now, championship leader. Finishing in 3rd for VRD Racing, Max Taylor. Max will hop off the podium here, and again, we talk about the championship fight, the cream rising to the top at the end. Everybody in the championship fight was right there in the middle of the scrap at the end. Coming home in 2nd, able to get some points on the leader. A great run for Sebastian Weldon, P2. VRD with 2 drivers on the podium. Weldon clawing back the points to try to close back up here on Taylor. 2 more races still to come in this category for USF Juniors. 1 this afternoon, 1 tomorrow. Must win for this driver here, folks. He was 40 points back coming in. He needed to do everything he possibly could. The winner today for J. Howard Driver Development. A round of applause for Liam McNeely. Liam, come and chat with me here right now. I said, you know this. It's a must win, right? You're back quite a bit in points, but you got to claw away every race. You got to get more points. Give me your thoughts on that one. Starting on wet, going dry, that was wild.
Yeah, I know. Pretty much must win, but yeah, pretty good race. The team made all the right calls, and can't thank them enough.
Let's talk about how that track was at the very start. Was it tough? Was it? You were on the wets, but what kind of grip did you have out there?
For the first lap, there was quite a bit of grip, but when we got 2, 3, 4 laps in, it was just the front left was just not there anymore. So the caution came at the right time. All 3 of us boxed, and good to get the win.
So how does this change your mindset going into the race this afternoon? You close up a little bit, not a lot, but you close up a little bit. Is it super aggression for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, it has to be. Just keep winning and see where we end up.
Who do you want to thank today?
My team, Joe, my crew chief, and my mechanic Brian. They did all the right things, so yeah.
Congratulations. Get up on top of the box. We know the family's watching at home back in England. Great job for Liam McNeely. Again, a must-win situation. He's got to come in and maximize and get all the points he possibly can. Can't let anything hang out there, so for him to be able to get full points. I think 31 in total, 30 points for the race win. 1 point for fastest lap of the race. Of course, Max Taylor on the pole was able to get that done here too. And I'm assuming that'll put Liam McNeely on the pole, I think, for race number 2 as well. I would expect that he went faster here in the race than he did in qualifying. So that's going to allow McNeely to start on the pole position for race number 2 this afternoon at 6 o'clock. So good opportunity for McNeely to get it done. Bringing in our rookie racers here, a program that happens with all the Green Savory events. A bunch of young kids getting a chance to come to the race for the first time. I'll get a chance to help them with a paddock tour later on tomorrow as well. Get a chance to meet some drivers up close and personal. But a great opportunity here on the podium. First of 3 races, as I'd said, for USF Juniors. First of 8 all told on the schedule here for today. But again, these are the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. Champagne coming in on this one. You're not going to see them spray each other yet. Maybe at the end, because they got to wear these suits again later on. But guys, grab that champagne, grip it, and rip it. Let's celebrate the first of 3 races. Liam McNeely getting the race win. Sebastian Weldon second. Max Taylor in third. Good points for Taylor in trying to win that championship, but both McNeely and Weldon able to claw themselves a little bit closer as they work their way in to try to get that championship and the scholarship to move to USF 2000 in 2025. First race of 8 done here from Portland, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying about set to roll out here again. Remember, USF Pro 2000. Actually, it's USF 2000 first for qualifying. Then we'll have USF Pro 2000. 2 more sessions. We're going to keep the stream rolling here if you're watching on YouTube. Qualifying up next.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
So back at it here trackside after what was a thrilling and excitement-filled USF Juniors race number 1. Started wet, went to dry. One issue at the start. Most of the drivers able to cleanly get through turn 1, 2, and 3, which was fantastic. Jack Jeffers, the only driver who had to come to the tail of the field. He self-penalized himself essentially by coming into pit lane at the end of that opening lap to get the tires changed. Would have been a great call for him, except for the fact we went yellow just a couple laps later, not allowing Jack and a couple other drivers to be able to get those laps back when everybody else had to cycle through the pits. So tough one for him. But not for Liam McNeely, the Jay Howard driver development pilot, who rolled into the weekend here, sitting in fourth spot in points, 50 points back. He'll gain at least, I think, probably about 8 points. So he's going to be 42 points back. So if he can still keep clicking away, you never know how things will play out with still 2 more races to go in USF Juniors. A couple of qualifying sessions now up for you here, folks, before we wrap up our morning's worth of USF Pro Championship action. USF Juniors drivers on the grid getting set to go for their qualifying session. And these sessions, 30 minutes in length. But if we do go green to checker, it's a 20-minute run. They get 20 minutes max green flag racing, green flag qualifying. And indeed, this is a crucial session for those of you who don't follow our program on a regular basis. Essentially one qualifying session for 3 races. But so the first lap, your fastest lap sets the grid for race number 1. Your second fastest lap then can be brought in provisionally for race 2 and race 3. So you set your second fastest lap in qualifying. That provisionally sets the grid for race number 2. But if you go faster than that lap time in race number 1, you can use your race number 1 lap time. And that's kind of designed to allow drivers who had trouble in qualifying to potentially bounce back with a good lap in race number 1. Same goes for race number 3, provisionally using your second fastest lap of qualifying. Although if you go quicker than that speed in race number 2, you can use that lap to set the grid. So we don't really set the grid for all 3 races as of yet, but this qualifying session will indeed set the grid for race number 1. USF 2000 will be back on track in about 4 hours' time. 4 o'clock we'll be rolling for the first of 3 races for USF 2000. This weekend, of course, the championship weekend of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires. 3 races for juniors, 3 races for USF 2000, but just 2, a doubleheader for USF Pro 2000. We'll see those drivers in about 45 minutes time as they roll out for their qualifying session. Lockie Hughes and Jace Denmark, the only 2 drivers in the championship fight there. Here in USF 2000 as they race for what a scholarship worth over $450,000 to move to USF Pro 2000 next season as a scholarship driver. There are a number of drivers still in the championship fight. And I would say very likely 5 in total with 99 points up for grabs. Max Garcia leads the way right now. Sam Corey in second. Max Taylor in third. Evagoras Papasavas in fourth. And Joey Brienza in fifth. Actually, Brienza not in it at all, so it's just the 4. Brienza's back significantly. So he's still battling for Rookie of the Year. And that's one of the key things we talked about earlier here in the day. The drivers have now taken to the racetrack on a track that I believe all dry. There's a little bit, I think there's a little moisture right around there a little bit. Drivers should be smart in going offline, but it's not going to take much time, especially with these drivers getting out there, building more heat in the tires before we're fully dry. Second-year drivers have really stepped to the forefront, and a lot of times in this program, this ladder system, we'll see drivers come into a series, their first year they learn. They learn the race car, they learn the tracks, they increase speed. They come back their second year, and that's when they battle for that championship. And not surprising, our top 4 drivers in the championship right now, Max Garcia, Sam Corey, Max Taylor, and Evagoras Papasavas, all second-year drivers in the series. But we do have 5, half of the top 10 are rookie drivers. Joey Brienza in their battle for Rookie of the Year. He sits 5th. Hudson Schwartz in 6th. Nicholas Giaffoni in 7th. Michael Costello on the outside, potentially getting there, as is Ayrton Hout. But all those drivers, again, rookie drivers, kind of the tail end of the top 10. Garcia, though, with 347 points, a healthy lead right now of 35 over Sam Corey, more than a full race. So for drivers like Corey, Taylor, and Papasavas, their really only goal, only focus is to make sure they finish in front of Max Garcia in all 3 of the races to potentially give them a shot at this championship. The opening race of a triple header, I think, so crucial, as we know, because it really does set the pace. We saw Liam McNeely there. He was able to gain some points back on Max Taylor in USF Juniors.
Not a lot, but he gained some back. Fast lap as well, I believe, obviously quicker than the wet qualifying we had for Liam McNeely. So he's going to be on the pole position for race number 2. That's huge for that British driver, because starting up front, if all goes well, we get a green and checker race. He's got a good race car. He can pull away and get another win. A couple drivers side by side coming through turn number 8. This is qualifying, folks. You don't need to wreck each other. It is the driver's responsibility to find the open track that they're looking for. One of the issues that we had earlier in the season were drivers coming out onto the racetrack and slowing down significantly, down to 10 miles an hour, trying to see if they can make sure they weren't getting followed. There wasn't a driver that was going to try to draft with them. Happened a lot at VIR, Juniors, same thing at Road America. So race control saying, you know what, we're going to change that. If you want to gap yourself on the racetrack, you're not slowing down, waiting for a driver. You can do that by coming to the pit lane. You can do a drive-through and gap where you need to be. So what we did was we came up with a maximum lap time. So once we're onto the racetrack, you get that first lap in the books, there's a maximum time. If you're over top of that maximum time, meaning you're slowing up around the racetrack, maybe impeding other drivers, you're going to end up losing your fastest lap. The next thing we did, because drivers were doing it on the opening lap before we could actually time them, we have a minimum speed as well of 35 miles an hour. So we can go back, Phil, and look at this and say, okay, hold on. Here's 10 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. You can't do that. Minimum speed of 35. Just get out there and put your laps down.
Exactly. I got some good news for you, though, Rob. I see blue sky.
Yeah.
I see blue sky. This practice session earlier was in some wet. Now we're talking, like you said, looked like for sure a complete dry track. Going to have a lot quicker times than we did in practice.
Yeah, they'll go back to where they were yesterday, right? Phil, when we had 3 sessions. A full test day yesterday. 3 track sessions for all 3 of the series here at the USF Pro Championship. So these guys all got lots of lap times. The fast guys set their kind of fastest time in the early session. They never really got that much quicker in the afternoon because they've already kind of got themselves to the point where they know how to get around here. It's the drivers who had never been here before. We watched them like lop off, a second a session to get faster and faster. This particular category, USF2000, with 17 drivers on the grid, ended up being 9/10 from first to last in our final session. It's super close in this category. A lot of the drivers, we still call them rookies, but they've had a full season. They've had 7 weekends already. They're not really rookies anymore, so that's why it's so competitive here at Colden when we do come for this finale weekend. So a lap starting to go in here right now. Again, as I had said, 20 minutes of green flag running. Sam Corey up top right now. Max Garcia second. Evagor's Papasabas third. Notice a trend there. All 3 of those drivers in the championship fight. Brady Golan's having a good weekend here. He was top 5 in race number 1. Golan for D-Force Racing, the Texan. Got some good speed here. Quinn Armstrong in there as well. We'll look at Joey Parensis. He goes up to P4. Just seeing some drivers rolling. G3 Archeros in the 63 now rolling out, as is the number 1 of Giafoni. They're going to come right down into turn number 1 with a bunch of drivers in speed here. Now, this is the key. When they're coming back out here, whatever you do, don't impede another driver. If you do that, you lose an opportunity potentially. He's done a good job. Giafoni's done a good job to stay out of the way. So if you impede another driver when they come back out onto the racetrack, you're going to get yourself an opportunity to potentially get a fast lap taken away. Argero staying to the outside, coming through turn number 4 and 5. Elliot Cox rolling out on the track for the first time as well. Triple header weekend for the drivers here in USF 2000. They'll get 4 sets of tires to use. That's the interesting thing. Do you get a chance to use? Do you use the tires? How do you play in qualifying? With only 20 minutes, it's really tough, especially in a short track like this, to potentially roll in and make changes on tires, because it does take 2.5, 3 minutes to change tires. Sam Corey up on top still. Evagor's Papasabas now goes to P1. Thomas Schrag, who's quickest this morning, to P1 now for BRD Racing. Papasabas had a fantastic start to the year. 5 straight podium finishes. And disaster in race 2 at Indianapolis. He actually had 6 straight top 5, then a 19th. Bounced back with a podium 3rd on the oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Didn't get the first victory until Mid-Ohio, and then followed it up with a win, a must-win, I think, for him in Toronto to keep himself in mathematical contention. He is 59 points back of Max Garcia right now, but 99 points is set up for grabs. So it's a potential for Papasavas with 288 points to go to 387 points. So Garcia with 347. If he gets 41 all told, he'll be able to eliminate Papasavas. As we know, race number 1 for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 coming this afternoon. We'll cap the day off with race number 2 for USF Juniors. We're going to have a really good picture of the championship fight when we roll into Saturday. 1 race for Junior, 1 race for 2000, 1 race for Pro. We may have a Pro clinch here today if Lockheed Hughes can sweep it. He's able to win the race. I think he will be able to walk away with the championship. So Lockheed Hughes and Chase Denmark, the 2 drivers fighting there. Seen so many different lines coming through that apex of turn number 1. A lot of drivers, climbing up over top of the curb. Others just absolutely almost center rolling the curbing. It's tough on your chassis to do that. Every one of these cars, of course, with the skid plate underneath. Using that up here. Final race of the year, as we know, but we're back to testing. 2nd week of September, 2-day test at Mid-Ohio. Later in the month, test at IRP and Oval Test. Closing in on the halfway point of a 20-minute session. Max Taylor, point leader, now goes to, third in points, now goes to P1. 113.1. Sam Corey's going to retake the favor. A lot of time starting to come in. So again, over a 20-minute run, let's say we do go green to checker. Obviously, tires coming up to temperature, the pressures are coming up to where they need to be, but the car gets lighter and lighter as we burn away fuel through the session as well. Ideally, everything comes together on the final lap. The car is as light as it's going to be. You've set the tire pressures perfectly as they come up to the temperature so that they're giving you the exact grip that you need. And then from there, the driver has been able to gap himself to the point where he's not going to get closed up by another driver. How many times do you hear a racer say that? Hey, I was on a flyer and I caught up to a slower guy in front of me. That's the driver's responsibility. Make sure you gap yourself when you need to gap yourself. That last lap, that flyer at the end of 20 minutes, you need to make sure you're not held up by anybody in front of you. And then over the almost 2 miles of asphalt here at Portland, 12 corners, you have to nail them all. Entry, apex, exit. Can't leave anything on the table. When you go back to the paddock, back in the debrief room, in the engineering room, and you lay down all your data, they're able to see a theoretical best. So when you split the track up into different segments, the data acquisition system is able to get your best segments and show you what your theoretical best lap time, meaning you went this quick through sector 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you put all the best together, which you know you can do, obviously, that's your theoretical best time. The closer you can get to your theoretical fastest time, the better. And that means you've fully optimized the package that you've taken to the track for qualifying. Max Taylor currently on top here right now. VRD number 3. VRD currently 1-2 with Taylor and Schrag. Max Garcia, now your point leader, goes quicker. He goes a 1:12.6. Garcia, Taylor, Schrag, Michael Costello in 4th, Papasavas in 5th. The number 91 at Joey Brienza, sitting 7th right now, has made a tire change. So a number of drivers are using this opportunity to come in and put fresh rubber on. So indeed, even though it's a short 20-minute session, I did say with the shortness of the track, it actually plays nicely because you only need a certain amount of laps to get your tires up to temperature. At a track like Road America, in a 20-minute session, it's tough to make a pit stop because it's so long to get back around the track. You're not going to get the lap times in. At a shorter track like the one here in Portland, you make that 2.5, 3-minute change, you're back out, you put 3, 4, 5 laps down in less than 8, 9 minutes. So again, we may see a lot of that, Phil, guys coming in, putting on fresh rubber. When you do that, you can make a minor change. Hey, the car wasn't perfect, can we do this? Go quicker in the next run.
Interesting how you call us a shorter track, which is almost 2 miles. So what are we talking about most of your tracks in, or lengthwise?
Well, Road America's over 4 miles.
Right.
VIR 3.6. A lot of the tracks will run 2.5 to 3 miles. Will be the size. Again, some of the tracks, like a Toronto street circuit's a little shorter as well. But we run a lot of big, long racetracks for sure. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a long racetrack as well. So normally our lap times anywhere, from 1:30 to 1 to 2 minute laps, or even longer, of course, when we go to Road America.
You think a driver would prefer a shorter track?
No, I think a driver likes a track that has all the challenges they want, right?
Sure.
It doesn't matter how long the racetrack is. That's the cool factor of running a big, long track like Road America that has a bunch of long straightaways, hard braking zones, and then you come to a more of a bullring track like, Mid-Ohio's even like a bit of a bullring track. Something a little bit shorter that still pushes the drivers to be their best. This track has everything the drivers want. As I said before, the USF Juniors drivers who had never been here before came into the paddock at the end of the day and were just raving about it. They loved it because there's such different nuances of this particular facility.
Sure.
Max Garcia on top of the 112.646, 7.5 minutes remaining in qualifying. Max Taylor second, Thomas Schrag third. Costello fourth, Nicholas Giaffoni now up to fifth. Last year's USF Juniors champion. Giaffoni coming in right now 8th place in points, but not out of the realm of possibility to working his way up into the top 5. And again, that's the Rookie of the Year battle. Brienza, Schwartz, Giaffoni, all in this Rookie of the Year fight. Sam Corey now 6th. Second place in points coming in. He needs to step things up. He needs that pole. Evagores Papasabas 7th. Joey Brienza 8th. Hudson Schwartz in 9th. Quinn Armstrong rounding out the top 10. Just over a second separating the entire field right now. Max Garcia back to Maxwell Jamison. Again, 99 points out there for an absolute complete sweep of the weekend. All 3 race wins, pole, fast lap of the race, most laps led, 99 points. Max Garcia, who comes in here right now with a 35-point lead over his teammate from Pabst Racing, Sam Corey. It's about grabbing as many points as you can. Pole position being the first one. Trying to steal that one away. Garcia, Taylor, Schrag, Costello, Giaffoni. 6 minutes still to go. A number of drivers, as we know, have come in to put on fresh rubber. It's going to give them a couple laps to get going. Sam Corey in the Pabst Racing number 23 rolling out. So indeed, he's got fresh rubber and 5 minutes and 50 seconds to do something with it. See drivers rocketing down the back straightaway here into that fantastic 10, 11, 12 combination. They are literally hanging the car out to dry through that corner on the ragged edge, throwing it into turn number 10, that left-hander. And then again, it's almost a double apex to roll back out onto the front straightaway. You're just carrying so much speed. 11 and a little, you kind of release an 11 as you're going a little bit straighter to get the car back turned in. It's not a full constant radius right-hander. Such a fantastic corner and crucial. That's what leads you onto the straightaway to potentially make that run down into turn number 1. Inside pass into turn 1, big. Even an outside pass, if the driver's going to defend to the inside, you get alongside. As long as you're ahead outside of 1, you're going to have the inside line going into turn number 2. USF Pro 2000 drivers over on the false grid outside of turn number 10 and 11 right now, where we're paddocked here at Portland International Raceway. We're going to keep rolling through the broadcast here. Between sessions, getting an opportunity to show you the newest episode of The Climb, our USF Pro Championship documentary series. The Climb focused this episode on the events at Toronto, so stay tuned for that. We'll again continue the stream all the way through to the end of qualifying for USF Pro 2000. A big hello to those of you who are on the YouTube channel watching all the action here from Portland. Normally I try to have my laptop open so I can follow up on the chat with you guys there, but not working. We don't have Wi-Fi access right now here. We're going to work on that for the afternoon. I hope you're enjoying a Friday. 3 more races to come, as I had said. 4 o'clock for USF 2000, 5:15 for USF Pro 2000, 6 o'clock for USF Juniors. Tomorrow, USF 2000 back on track for their second race at 10 in the morning. If you're trackside here, autograph session, very likely just by the bridge on the front straightaway. We'll have our autograph session at 12:40. Working through all of our drivers. 1:45 scheduled start time for the final race of USF Juniors. We will know the champion for sure. It may happen actually later today. We'll see. But very likely we'll crown our champion in USF Juniors at 1:45. 3 o'clock start time for USF Pro 2000, then 5:45 to cap off the day on Saturday. Cap off the 2024 season for USF Pro Championships Racing with USF 2000. Their final race of the triple header. Sunday evening, we'll have our championship celebration. as I said before, pass out over $1.68 million prize money and awards. Scholarship, as we know, $263,000 plus that for USF Juniors champion. USF2000 driver here on the racetrack right now, $458,000 to move to Indy. USF Pro next year. And then, of course, USF Pro 2000 champion scholarship valued at over $681,000 to put towards an Indy next program in 2025. Again, folks, Continental Tire, a fantastic partner for us this year, signing a new contract to have them as our spec tire for multiple years. If you're looking for premium performance now through August 31st, you can receive a Visa prepaid card by mail with any purchase of 4 qualifying Continental tires. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ContinentalTire.com for full details. Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Being told we have a red flag on track here right now. Red flag. Max Garcia still on top, but we have an issue on the racetrack. Red flag. Being told potential oil on the racetrack, so track conditions here right now. We've gone green throughout this entire session, so again, we're only 18 minutes in the session, still 2 more minutes remaining. The key is, can anybody do anything with 2 minutes again coming back in? Right now, Max Garcia on top. This could be good for Max. Garcia on top with a 112.646. Not only is that pole position for race 1, but a bonus point there for qualifying on pole as he tries to win a championship. The second-year driver for Pabst Racing out of Florida. Thomas Schrag in second, Max Taylor third, Elliott Cox fourth, Michael Costello fifth. I will say this as well, Max Taylor with the second quickest time right now, so provisionally on the pole for race number 2. But if they go quicker in race number 1, they'll be able to substitute their times. So it's Garcia, Schrag, Taylor, Cox, Costello top 5, Giafoni 6th, Brienza 7th, Schwartz 8th, Corey 9th, and Papasavas 10th. For race number 2, your second fastest lap, right now provisionally Taylor and Schrag will be on the front row. Third quickest second lap is Elliott Cox. Fourth, Nicholas Giafoni. So unsure whether or not leveraging the last 2 minutes would do anything, because literally when they head to the track, by the time they got around, they'd get 1 more lap. Because they'd get back around. By the time they get out there, you're looking at, a minute and a half maybe remaining. I don't know that they'll be able to sneak back in and get 2 laps. Being told an issue in turn number 5 potentially as well. That car 6 would be Evagoras Papasavas. So turn 5, the end of the kind of right-handing sweep. This is turn 1, 2. And then 3 is the right-hander that leads into the short shoot over to 4. Big sweeping 4, 5, things kind of tighten up, and there you see it there. So not just the oil on the racetrack, but also an incident for Evagoras Papasavas. He's down into 10th. I have a feeling they've already applied the penalty for bringing out a red flag. When you bring out a red flag, you lose your fastest lap of the race. Again, the penalty for an issue. He's gone off the racetrack, so Phil, that's going to be tough for Papasavas, a driver who comes in here sitting 4th in points, but significantly back. A driver needed to maximize every situation.
Did he cause the oil? Did he get in the oil? That's the issue. But either way, you would, if you brought the red out,
that's it.
That would be the way it would be. So
that is your point leader right there, Max Garcia at Coconut Grove, Florida. Second year in the series, just 15 years of age. Last year was not able to run the first events of the year because he had not yet turned 14. So we've changed that around. We talked about that earlier this weekend. We actually made an adjustment to the minimum age requirements for all 3 of the series for 2025. You now must be 14 years of age before you can run in an official session for USF Juniors, whether it's an official test, whether it's spring training or an event. You have to be 14 years of age, a hard 14. This year, 13. You can be 13 if you turn 14 during the season. Next year, you have to be 14 for any of the tests, any of the sessions. USF 2000, the same goes. It's 15 years of age, minimum age, and 16 for USF Pro 2000. So we need all the drivers have brought themselves back to pit lane. They're, again, doing what they can here with the number 6 of Evagoras Papasavas, the Jay Howard driver development car, going off in turn number 5. Garcia on top right now, though, but not even a 1/10 of a second over Thomas Schrag. So Garcia for Pabst Racing, Schrag and Taylor second and third for VRD. Elliott Cox, the solo effort for Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing Development. Cox in the Stars and Stripes, red, white, and blue, number 67. He's P4. And actually, right now, third for race number 2, the second fastest lap. Michael Costello, 5th. Nicholas Giaffoni, 7th. Joey Brienza in 8th. 9th is Hudson Schwartz. 10th, Sam Corey. 11th. Rather, 9th is Corey. 10th is Papa Savas. Again, we talk about the championship battle between Garcia, Corey, Taylor. That Rookie of the Year fight still up for grabs. Joey Brienza leading the way, but right there, right around him, Nicholas Giaffoni and Hudson Schwartz and Michael Costello as well. Costello, he's not totally out of it right now. He'd have to have a fantastic weekend to try to jump up over top of Brienza, but Brienza, Schwartz, Giaffoni, the primary contenders. Although in qualifying right now, Costello the quickest. Good shot of pit lane. Crews having a look at their cars. Tech officials there as well from the series. Can't adjust anything on a red flag. So I'm going to say this is where the potential oil drop was. Not exactly sure what that would have been from, but the AMR IndyCar safety crew having a really good look at the 10, 11, 12 complex. Great shot of this corner. Because you can see how the back straightaway actually does sweep a bit to the right there, coming through turn number 9. Back into the hard braking turn number 10, the left-hander. The drivers will pitch that car and get over top of that curbing on the right side there, right there. Left side of the track, boom, all over top of that curbing. And then, again, as you come through, the car's already kind of drifting to the right side, but you got to throw it back to the left into that double apex. You can see the first apex there, and then you'll watch them come out of the corner. In fact, they'll go over that white line where the other part of the racetrack is, kind of cruise there, and then bring it back over top of the curbing a little bit there before they roll back into the inner curbing, the right side of the track, into turn number 12. And then, of course, at that point, it's daunting if you're driving a car here, Phil, because when you come through turn number 12, you're not pointing down the racetrack. You're literally pointing straight at the wall on the outside, right? You're just going to miss the jut out from the drag part of the track. It's so tough because you're just carrying so much speed. You're aiming at the wall and hoping the car will turn once you get back out to the exit point.
And you were talking about the curbing. You were talking about these cars having a skid plate. Still got to be careful. Well, I got a skid plate on my side-by-side, and I'm still going to be careful with those curbs.
Well, again, the curbs at racetracks, I don't care where you are, everything's going to be a little bit different. Some curbing a lot more aggressive, right? Road America's got some more aggressive curbing that you can use and that you can't use. A lot of times if you drop a wheel on the outside of the curbing, it may be a big drop-off there. So that fault drops you down as well. That removable skid plate we have, of course, tries to save the tub itself. It's kind of essentially a plywood board underneath the car that you can scrape off a little bit. But the bottom line is that you still have to approach every corner correctly. We've seen a lot of guys super aggressive coming through turn number 1. I don't know if that's the best idea. A number of them have to power themselves through that corner. Everybody heading back out, so there you go. Looks like we're going to get the takers of everybody. I just believe we're going to get one lap in. Remember, fast laps that we're laying down here right now is a 1:12. I don't know that they'll be able to get all the way back around, because once they do come flying through, yeah, I have a feeling we're going to get around here. Someone may be lucky to get one more lap in, other than just the one flyer. But again, 1:12.646 for Garcia, 1:12.720 for Schrag. So less than a 10 separates first and second. Garcia, though, the point leader, trying to grab that point. Oh, this is going to be super close for somebody maybe coming in. No, they're not going to do it. 12. Not quite. They haven't got to the alternate timeline. So, yeah, everybody's going to get one more lap. Here comes Garcia. Benefit of being the point leader. You're the first pit spot on pit lane. Garcia's going to have open racetrack. Look at how so many drivers have done a good job capping themselves. That's that corner I talked about. They're literally pointing at the outside wall when they come out at turn number 12. They're not down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're hanging it outside. You're all the way down to the curb there. You're rolling it out. You're pointing towards, kind of preserving as much exit speed as possible. You don't want to be tight out of that corner. Here's a good shot at coming through the 1-2 combination. Everybody getting one more lap. Can anybody go quicker? 1:12.6. One more USF Pro Championship session still to go. USF Pro 2000 qualifying coming up. An opportunity to have a look at the newest episode of The Climb. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, that'll play between these two qualifying sessions. So stay tuned for that.
out of 5, 6. Over to turn number 7 now. Checker flag will fly as they come down the back straightaway. Time has run out. Max Garcia. Can you pull off a one-lap flyer here to cap things off? 112.6 for Garcia. Does he go any quicker coming through here right now? I don't know that we'll see any drivers build enough heat into the tires to throw a lap down unless someone has some struggles from the further back in the field. Garcia with the fast lap. Still Max Taylor, second quickest lap. The fastest second lap. One driver in a bunch of trouble coming through the final corner there, not able to get a good lap through. Again, that caps things off. They'll all see the checker flag in the back straightaway. I don't see any movement whatsoever. And indeed, Max Garcia draws first blood. It was a 35-point lead coming in. Make it 36 now. So he'll start on the pole for race number 1 alongside Thomas Schrag. Max Taylor and Elliot Cox on row 2. Michael Costello and Nicholas Giaffoni on row 3. Joey Berenza alongside Hudson Schwartz on row 4. Sam Corey and Evagoras Papasavas, row number 5. Just over a second separating the entire 17-car field here in USF 2000. But for Garcia, number 1, a bonus point. Number 2, pole position. If he gets a good jump and gets down through turn number 1, 2, and 3 and gets out front early, it's going to be huge for him to potentially pull away. There he is right now, Max Garcia. Last couple of races have been interesting. He won the first 3 races of the year, third in the 4th race, scored a win as well at IMS, but he hasn't been right there throughout the last bunch of races. Mid-Ohio, second on the podium, race 1, 4th and 4th. Top 5s. He's banging out the top 5s. Top 5 in the last 5 races, and that's championship thinking. He may not have had the car to be able to win, but he brings it home every time. No DNFs, and that is crucial for him. And in fact, if you look at his line, you talk about a young driver who really settled in this year. The worst finish of the year for Max Garcia, 7th on the oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park. After that, I think a 6th at Road America. Almost everything he's done this year has been top 5s. Only 3 finishes outside the top 5 for Max Garcia. We'll see if he's able to cap it off this year, or this weekend rather, to come away with the USF 2000 championship. There you have it there, folks. We are still quite a ways away. 16 minutes before we get rolling here with qualifying for USF Pro 2000. That will cap off what has been a busy morning for the USF Pro championships. We'll open the track up for the Indy Next, and of course the superstars of the NTT IndyCar Series to roll out here this afternoon as well. But again, one more session still to come. 15 minutes away, USF Pro 2000 will hit the track for qualifying.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
are so many storylines in the paddock of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. Drivers from all over the world, as we know, so many from the United States, but some also from the country of Canada. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were up in Toronto, Ontario for that fantastic street race, and one of the drivers we followed throughout that weekend was Canadian Mac Clark. So many storylines, as I had said, that his home race. All a big part of the new episode of The Climb, our documentary available both on the USF Pro Championship app and on the YouTube channel. Let's have a look at that right now.
Dude, it's so cool. I mean, it's our only race in Canada, and not only are we in Canada, we're like literally in the city I was born in. So super cool to have like family, friends, supporters. We have like 50 or 60 people back here in the D-Force team throughout the weekend, so it's an added boost for sure.
Dude, I'm great. Fired up in Toronto, however the hell you say it. What?
Just take it away.
All right.
It's a Toronto trip. There you go. That's all yours.
Bro, I gotta make weight. I think it's really cool that we come here. It's good exposure for the sport, and you get a whole new country. I love it here. Street races are, in my opinion, the best races just because the atmosphere that it pulls, right? You're gonna get so much more people when you do something in the downtown of a city rather than just doing like Mid-Ohio. Peace and love to Mid-Ohio, but it's in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, you only can get a certain amount of pull for people. So, yeah, it's cool. The environment is so electric. You know, looking at the stands and they're full of fans, it's so cool. I ran out of cards. I had to start signing like Diet Coke cans in people's bags, and it was a mess. But no, I mean, it's cool.
Dude, it's so sick. Like, I would wrap myself in the Canadian flag if I could. But even like when we're doing the autograph session, you know, people see the flag on the card and they're like, oh, you're Canadian? And I'm like, yeah, like I was born here, blah, blah, blah. They ask more questions. I'm like, I'm literally the only Canadian in the series. And I don't think there's a Canadian in IndyCar either this weekend. So it's pretty special, man. I think I'm one of the only Canucks in the paddock, and to have the support from the fans, it means a lot. And I try to kind of play up on like all the Canadian traditions. Like, you know, I wear red gloves for Greg Moore. I have the Jimmy on the back of my helmet. That's kind of like a childhood thing, not so much for Canada. But, you know, anytime I can, I kind of slip it in there.
Go eat your Tim Hortons, bro. You're coming into the end of the season, you just want to put yourself in the fight in qualifying, right?
Top 10?
Top 10? So
No,
that's pretty good.
That's badass. Didn't get the Continentals fired up. Kind of unfortunate timing, but I think the number 7 car is pace.
Yeah, good. Get a, you know, starting 1-2, switch drive away. Yeah.
Good few starting positions for races. So
yeah. And you start right behind me for race 1 today, so yeah, looking good.
Yeah, man, I really think we could have got pole there if we had clear skies, but that's just the nature of Toronto. Yeah. So the car is wicked fast. I feel really good. Able to learn a lot from that session.
It's one thing to drive a street track, it's another to race it. Anybody could come out there and do their leisurely drive, but when you're on the limit in a race car going 120, 130 miles an hour right next to walls, it takes a lot of balls. I mean, you have to be fully committed, and especially like the last corner here. It's kind of blind and super high speed, and it's onto a straightaway, so you just have to commit to power and hope it sticks. And it's not like the perfect street course, right? Some people drive this in their car and it'll feel fine, but for a race car, it is super, super bumpy.
In terms of quality of racetrack, like, it's horrible. Like, you have concrete, you have asphalt, you have manhole covers, you have different types of asphalt, like all in one braking zone, you have crowns on the road, you have curbs that are just like awfully shaped. But it's a challenge. I think that's why I love this track. And I think half the drivers love it, half of them hate it, and it's like for the same reason. You know, like, it's just crazy. Pretty crazy. So like I said, I was born downtown and I lived just outside the city, about 45 minutes my whole life. So growing up, started racing when I was 10 years old, and it was always a long drive. You know, the two tracks are kind of on the east side of the city. We have Goodwood and we have Mosport, CTMP now for political reasons. But that's kind of where I cut my teeth. You know, I learned how to drive once I graduated from like the club level. And then, you know, racing slowly turned into more than a hobby. It went from something cool to do with my dad on a Saturday to like, okay, you know, maybe I could cut it as like an actual race car driver. So did my first kind of series of car racing up at Mosport when I was 15, 16, won a championship. And that's kind of where I learned the fundamentals. And I mean, now we're racing across the states in the USF Pro Championships, man. It's huge. You have to represent well, and I think it's an honor and a privilege to represent Canada on what is now an international stage, right? You're kind of the face of your country, and I want to do well for all my friends and family back home. You know, to see a Canadian stand on top of the podium and have the flag out, like, those are my most proud moments, 100%. Hinge is huge, right? Greg was a little bit before my time. As I started learning more about the history, you know, so much respect for him and his legacy because he really paved the way. Jacques is the only Canadian to win the 500, so I want to be the second. Having James as a mentor is so good because he's someone that has done this before. And he comes from a very similar background, like, you know, his childhood home is like half an hour away from where I grew up, right? So a lot of similarities there, and he's so good with helping me with off-track prep and on-track prep too. We did a track walk on Thursday together. You know, he's done this race tons of times, stood on the podium, done very well. So to have someone like that feeding you like little tidbits of information, invaluable. 3-4 years ago, when I was starting car racing, you know, and I came here for the first time, and I saw the guys racing at what was Indy Pro at the time, like, oh my goodness, like that's so cool, like, you know, maybe one day, like, but it wasn't like a sure thing, right? The open wheel ladder was never the plan. You know, I never really thought that it would blossom to that level. So to be here and in front of the home crowd in what is the second fastest thing on track this weekend besides IndyCar, super cool, man. Full circle moment for sure.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
We got this.
He wants you to sing the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada.
And we are underway. Green. With a couple of D-Force cars further back. Oh, there's Beswick together as well. Beswick at the number 9 of Liam McNeely. Here we go. Not surprising. Sam Corey tried around the outside.
One driver bouncing off the wall. That was Archer trying to go to the inside a little bit. Corey's going to move to the inside, down to the inside. Turn number 5. Book it. So checker flag will fly this next time by. Sam Corey's going to come away with his 3rd win of the season. Max Taylor in 2nd, Max Garcia 3rd.
And it's all about just chipping away at it. P2 is pretty good, and we'll go for the win tomorrow for sure.
I got contact on the first lap. My wishbone was bent in my right rear. So the wishbone looked like this towards the end of the race.
Evagor's Papasavas, folks, is going to win this one here under yellow. Liam Neely will finish 2nd. Sam Corey ahead of Max Garcia. He'll take another couple.
Well done, boys. Well done. Solid.
And he is in the championship fight. Folks, from J. Howard Driver Development, our winner today in USF 2000. Give it up for Evagor's Papasavas.
I think we got a chance, man. Just my smart moves. Try not to be in the wrong place. Okay, especially with all the IndyCar pickup. You don't want to be in the outside line on the first lap. Just keep it tight. Let's go, Jimmy.
Green, green, green. He's the tail of the field. Did not get packed up well. Gelson's going to go down the inside. Lockie Hughes going to try to run there on the outside, and boom! That is 2 drivers off. Liam Skeets and one of your point championship contenders, the 17 of Nikita Johnson. Lockie Hughes in the pit lane. That's your point leader.
Simon Sykes, my teammate, leading. Chase Denmark doing a really good job as well, especially in the points. This is perfect for him if he can just get a really just a clean end of the race. Good point.
So Simon Sykes, who won here last year in USF 2000 on route to a championship, is going to take the green flag. He'll punch off. So right there with him is the hometown boy from Milton, Ontario, just down the 401. Matt Clark trying to go for the lead. He'll go to the outside. Big move to the inside, though, for Chase Denmark, trying to get a better run out of turn 1 to get that run down back straightaway. Denmark has been able to go through, so move Denmark into 2nd. Sam, this is big. Paps Racing. Simon Sykes, victorious.
Boy, proud of you.
Yeah. That's what we want. Good job.
Long race, just happy to get it over with on the top step.
Settling into 2nd, we had to race some people for it. Definitely earned it. I don't know how we got through turn 1.
They washed a little wide on the exit. I hooked 1st gear and took off.
We're not done yet for the race lead. I'm telling you that right now. Full defense mode now for Lockie Hughes. You watched him go to the inside. Oh, spin! Oh, Johnson in the wall! Nikita Johnson taps the wall coming out of turn number 6. And I just talked about the fact that you can make a mistake. Lockie Hughes from Turn 3 Motorsports, another win.
Being able to get good points in race 1 and decent points in race 2. So, yeah, Toronto's usually good to me.
So indeed, back at it once again here with the USF Pro Championships. It has been a busy morning, to say the least. The 6th straight session for the drivers here in USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000. You've had a look at the development ladder system that, of course, cranks out drivers into the Indy Next program and ultimately the NTT IndyCar Series. USF Pro 2000 coming onto the racetrack right now. These drivers all in the same chassis. In fact, it's the same tub for all 3 levels of the program, just different items bolted on. The Tatis machine, built in Italy, fantastic partner of ours. These cars here, 250 horsepower, more downforce, more braking, bigger tires means more grip, more of everything from USF 2000 up to the USF Pro 2000 category. But this championship down to just a couple of drivers, Lockie Hughes versus Chase Denmark. Again, 2 races on the docket for the weekend here for these drivers here. They'll run at 5:15 this afternoon and cap things off at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And you got the Racing for the Most Money as well, one step away from the Indy Next Series scholarship worth over $681,000 to move up into Indy Next in 2025. We'll have Hughes or Denmark when it's all said and done. This category, though, has done such a great job over the last number of years in developing IndyCar stars. You go back to Rinus VK, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Robb, Christian Rasmussen, Those 4 drivers all make it. Of course, they'll be on the grid in the IndyCar program here this weekend. The most recent 2, of course, Louis Foster, who leads the points in Indy Next, and Miles Rowe, who scored that big championship here in Portland last year. Both those drivers, of course, in the IndyCar pipeline as well, and I expect to see Foster in the IndyCar next year, Rowe the year afterwards, likely. And these drivers, again, just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series. Fully dry racetrack after what was a very damp morning. As Bobby had said, potential for some more precipitation coming in later here in the afternoon. We have 3 races coming for you, as I had said before. Indy Next will be rolling out here. IndyCar, of course. 45-minute Indy Next practice starting in just over 45 minutes time before the 3 o'clock hour. 75-minute practice for the stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. Right now, qualifying underway. 20 minutes worth of green flag in a 30-minute window. If we go green to checker, it'll be a straight 20-minute run. Again, all about 20 long minutes to dial this thing in correctly. The full plan laid out of how they're going to approach the qualifying session. I would expect we may see a driver come in, run a bunch of laps early, get their fastest lap, set that banker lap, come in and potentially change tires. See whether that plays out or not. See which driver comes out of the gate strongly here. 15 drivers have turned times as thus far. Jace Denmark with the fastest laps coming out of the gates. Liam Skeets, the Kiwi, right in there. Lockie Hughes, talking about Hughes and Denmark being in a championship fight. The VRD duo of Nikita Johnson and Noah Ping now go to P1. Johnson in the 17, Ping in the 65. Nikita Johnson still in the championship fight mathematically, but Lockie Hughes would essentially not have to start either race. Johnson 62 points back, 66 points available if you swept everything. So you can't say he's mathematically out of it yet. All that Lockie Hughes needs to do is essentially start race number 1 to eliminate Johnson from a potential championship. So it's going to come down to Hughes and Denmark. Jace Denmark needs to really come out of the gate and win race number 1. He's got to do the best he can. He's got to win the opening race to get this thing done, because otherwise we'll be looking at all the calculations of where they finish on the racetrack. Essentially, if Lockie Hughes finishes in front of Jace Denmark, Hughes very likely to have the championship over. I think he is. I think if Hughes finishes in front of Denmark in race 1, he'll have some championship, because, again, as I said before, the gap right now is 35 points. Denmark's got to make sure it's less than 33. Or at least probably less than 32, because Jace has not won yet this season. He's had a tremendous season, though. 9 podium finishes, including the last 5. He's been on the podium the last 5 programs. We'd love to have him back in USF Pro 2000 again next year, but no, Jace is focusing on Indy Next, and well-deserved. Second year in this series has really stepped things up. Not only is Denmark totally focused, a driver from Scottsdale, Arizona, has packed up and moved to Brownsburg, Indiana. He knows where he needs to be. He wants to become an IndyCar driver. Totally focused on that. Denmark driving that number 20 three-dimensional services machine for past racing. Lockie Hughes in the 44. He lives in Indianapolis as well. Private wealth planning, the Kinsley Group machine. He was the Australian. He'll go back to P1. So first and second in points, first and second on the timing charts. Lockie Hughes P1, Jace Denmark second. Last year's USF 2000 champion who won it here, Simon Sykes, now up into third. Sykes has had I would say kind of an up and down season, but it's had a lot of highlights. He's got 3 podiums, 2 of them are wins. He won in Indianapolis and he won in Toronto. Currently sitting 6th place in points. Got a chance to go to 4th and 5th.
He'll be in a battle with Liam Skeets for P4 in the championship. And I think that's amazing for Simon Sykes because you overall look at his storyline. This was a young driver who has won races and championships in F1600 racing. He's a two-time SCCA National Championships runoff winner. Once in F1600, once in F2000, former Continental. Kind of soldiered around as blue-collar driver, just piecing together partial seasons in USF 2000, some chance to run with Legacy Autosport, but finally got an opportunity last year to run with Pabst Racing. Got that opportunity, took full advantage of it, brought Pabst Racing their first USF 2000 Drivers' Championship, scholarship to move up here, and he really has been a lot of fun to watch. One of the older drivers in the program, but again, he's looking to move to Indy next in 2024, 2025. I'd love to have him back again for one more year if that's what he had. Again, trying to put the money together, always tough for Simon Sykes to see if he can get the job done. But again, for Simon, doing everything he can to keep that career rolling. Lockie Hughes still on top, Jace Denmark second. Glenn Van Berlo, great storyline. Christian Brooks, who will run this weekend in Indy next, actually is 5th place in points right now, even though he missed the Toronto weekend, having decided to focus solely on Indy next. Well, the car, his machine, his deploy surveillance car for Pabst Racing, didn't have a driver for Toronto. Glenn Van Berlo, a guy who's done a lot of, we did some open wheel earlier in his career, but focuses on LMP3 racing. He's running the Lamborghini Super Trofeo program. He got tabbed to come over to Toronto. What a place to make your debut in USF Pro 2000. Very impressive. Got caught up in a couple incidents, but the bottom line, he was very quick. He's got an opportunity to get back in the car here this weekend, so great to see him back. He kind of capping off the season with Pabst Racing, jumping into that seat of Christian Brooks, get a chance to do some open wheel racing again. He's currently P5. Pabst Racing 3rd, 4th, 5th. Nikita Johnson's now up in 2nd. Not even to the halfway point here yet. There's a great shot again of turn 1, 2, and 3. Big run out of the 10, 11, 12 complex. You see the speed they carry into this corner here. The right-hand turn number 4. And you just keep coming around that corner to 5. You kind of release a little bit maybe out of 4, but right back at it at 5. A little short shoot over to turn number 6 here. I saw some drivers dealing with mid-corner oversteer. The rear kind of just getting a little loose coming out of 6. Back over to a much tighter turn number 7. There's a bit of banking coming into turn 7, if anything, on this racetrack. It leads you back onto the straightaway. Curve of turn number 8, and of course, big sweeping, the right-hand bending straightaway. Back down into that hard break of turn 10 that throws into the 10, 11, 12 complex. There it is again, shot here. Out at 12, way on the outside curbing, pointing right at that tire wall coming out of the corner to preserve as much exit speed as possible. There's the scholarship car of Simon Sykes. Then there's Glenn Van Berlo. You can't miss that car. Lockie Hughes coming through there in the Turn 3 Motorsports machine. Jace Denmark's gone back to 2nd, 4/10 back. Hughes, though, right now with a fast lap for both races. Fastest lap sets the grid for race number 1. The second fastest lap of your run provisionally sets the grid for race number 2. If you go quicker in race 1 than your second fastest lap of qualifying, you can use that lap instead. So we will set a provisional grid for race 2 based on the second fastest laps. But it all depends on what kind of afternoon we get. If the rain stays away, next an IndyCar put down a bunch of rubber and give us some grip, maybe there's an opportunity to go faster. There's Liam Skeets, the Kiwi for TJ Speed Motorsports. And I asked whether or not some drivers would come into pit lane, put on fresh rubber. The answer, a definitive yes. They had the rear cowl, I believe, off the car of Liam Skeets as well. While you're making that tire change, oftentimes you'll get feedback from the driver to the engineer saying, okay, car feels like this. I'd like a little more of this. I want a little more front. Can you free up the rear? You can always make some minor adjustments. There's Lockie Hughes right there. Is the Aussie the next driver to win a championship and move to Indy next? Last year in a championship fight with Simon Sykes for the USF 2000 championship. And I talked to Lockie, and we had an interview, and he talked about the fact that he thought maybe he focused maybe a little too much on the championship last year. A lot of the drivers will tell you, especially when questioned about the championship, I'm just going to go out and try to win races. And if I win races, if I'm on the podium, the championship usually takes care of itself. And that is most definitely the case. Lucky Hughes came out of the gate with a race win at St. Petersburg, second in race number 2, everything going in the right direction. Went to NOLA Motorsports Park in April after really dominating our spring training at that facility in late February. They struggled. 19th, 18th, and 10th. He would have told you, man, I don't know what's going on in this championship. But then he comes right back with 4 straight podium finishes. Third, second, third. The 3 races on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A podium third in the Freedom 90 on the oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. And that was all part of a run of 7 podium finishes that capped off in the sweep of 3 wins at Road America. Then he goes 4th and 7th at Mid-Ohio. You know, just bringing it home, taking care of the car. Didn't have the car to win, but put those points on the board. 5th of the opening race at Toronto, and back for his 5th race win of the season in the back end of the doubleheader at Toronto, and that's given him this point lead he has of 35 coming into the final weekend. Doubleheader for them, 66 points up for grabs. Hughes looking to try to grab the first of those 66. There's Sykes back on the racetrack. Everybody coming in to change the fresh rubber. 7 minutes remaining. Is that 5 laps, maybe 6, maybe 5 laps? Simon Sykes went to second before getting that new set of rubber, new set of Continentals. Hughes, Sykes back by 4/10. Denmark, 3rd. Johnson, 4th. Then Burlow, 5th. Frankie Mossman up to 6th. 7th, Nicholas Montiero. 8th, Noah Ping. 9th, Liam Skeets. 10th, the local driver out of Portland, Cooper Becklin for TJ Speed. Danny Yashelski in 11th. George Garciarci in 12th. Carlos Scotto, 13th. Pikers, 14th. And Alessandro Di Tullio, currently 15th. 1.7 seconds separate the field. We're 6.5 minutes away from capping off what has essentially been 4 hours of USF Pro Championships action. Bobby Corser, the voice of this Portland Grand Prix, joining me here in the booth. Bobby, it's been an interesting morning so far.
It's been a very interesting morning. Lots of action on the course. And I was talking with Phil Martelli, our co-PA voice, and you as well. I don't think we've ever had a Friday morning session this busy. Normally, this is what we would see a full Friday. Yeah. So it's fantastic. One thing I want to ask you, and I know you guys do it in USF as well as what IndyCar will do in a minute. Talk about the alternate start-finish line and the alternate timing line. What the importance of that is.
So during a race, the start-finish is of course the timing line, right? That's right. What you use. We use start-finish. But for practice and qualifying sessions, to minimize the amount of time you're on track off of a lap, you don't come across and set your time at start-finish. We have what's called the alternate timing line. That's at the end of the back straightaway. So you come around, you set your lap time, and then if you want to come straight to the pits, you can do that. In a shorter 20-minute qualifying run for us, it allows the drivers not to have to go back around another minute and a half and lose a lap. So they come across the alternate timeline. That's where they'll throw the checker. They can come straight into pit lane as well. And also, the very end of the session allows you for that one more lap as opposed to, again, wasting another minute and a half, 2 minutes rolling around the racetrack.
Right. I really love that because that is important to you. And I love, we're watching all these great camera works. And again, shout out to our guys in the truck that are taking such great care of us. You watch some of the lines that the drivers are taking into that first corner. Some completely put both sets of tires on the inside of that rumble strip and shortcut. Other guys a little bit more traditional line where maybe half the car goes over the rumble strips. But guys are finding that line. And again, as you said, as long as the rain holds off, the track is mostly dry right now. Yeah. So they are getting rubber down. It is starting to catch speeds. And we're already seeing, speeds come up. Guys are running their fastest laps here, concurrently right now. So it's been impressive. Long morning for you. You've done a great job. I know you can't, you and I talk professionally for a living, but it's just like, sometimes you're like, man, it's a lot of work.
Well, listen, this reminds me of a go-kart race. I do a lot of karting events, have for 30 years as well, right? So a karting event is usually 9 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. Oh, yeah. Non-stop. I make it in a half an hour lunch in the middle of the day. So I'm used to talking all day long, and I know that my girlfriend would say that's not a good thing. So we are wrapping this thing up. 3.5 minutes still remaining. Hughes still on top. Lucky Hughes, your point leader in the 44 for Turn 3 Motorsports P1. This is when you're going to see fast times. Remember, they changed rubber, so they set the tire pressure, so it's not going to be super good out of the gate. It's the tire pressure will build up with the heat as it comes in there. You need the tire pressure to be perfect. The heat speed of the tires to be perfect, and then the driver to nail it. Make sure they're capped on the racetrack, make sure they nail the lap. And remember, as I said, USF 2000, they're burning off fuel through a 20-minute run. So the car's going to get lighter and lighter as you burn that fuel off. It carries a lot of weight and fuel when they start these sessions. So we expect potentially the fastest laps to come at the very end of this one. 3 minutes remaining, 2-3 laps still to go. It's Johnson on top. There you go. Now it's time to get to work. Nikita Johnson, who needs every point possible. Really, it's not going to happen. Lockie, as I said, only needs to start the race, take the green flag, and it'll eliminate Nikita Johnson from the championship. But nonetheless, even if you're not in the championship, you want to go out with a bang, right? I always say you want to put an exclamation point on the end of your season. And Nikita Johnson would love to do that with a couple of race wins. He's been running GB3 as well. He's going to move likely to Indy next in 2025. Nikita Johnson, just 16 years of age. P1 right now, but only by 0.03 of a second. Hughes second, Simon Sykes third, Jace Denmark fourth, Glenn Van Berlo fifth. Drivers behind them turning fast laps. They're fastest of the run. Liam Skeets just been up to seventh. Danny Dashelski was outside the top 10. The Turn 3 Motorsports driver now into the 8th spot, but a second back. Who else is coming up? Jace Denmark pushes his way up to third, and Alessandro DeTullio, who was dead last 15th, puts in a lap. He'll go to P5. Rookie driver Alessandro DeTullio didn't start until mid-Ohio, but he's got a full program lined up for 2025. He's got support, and this kid's a tremendous young driver. Currently the number 2 ranked single-speed kart racer in the country by ekartingnews.com. Also a multi-time winner in our first year of USF Juniors 2 years ago. A provisional license to come and run here in USF Pro 2000. He has delivered for sure. Very impressive runs for DeTullio. Johnson, Hughes, Denmark, Sykes, Van Berlo. Everybody's turning green laps now, as I expected. Johnson with the fastest lap, the outright fastest lap. The second fastest lap. Best guy is Lockie Hughes. Again, like we said, depending on the weather, we could see drivers turn fastest laps in the race that could change the grid for race number 2 tomorrow. Minute remaining. So as they come down the back straightaway, the checker flag's going to come back around. These drivers here are coming through turn 9 now. These drivers are all going to get the checker this next time by. 1 or 2 may slip through, but I believe these guys are going to see the checker. Johnson on top. Van Berlo, Frankie Mossman, Cooper Becklin up into 8th position. All those drivers I just mentioned going green. Lap number 13, lap number 14. Again, as we said, a 30-minute window, but green to checker, max of 20 minutes, and they've done that. And that's what we expect of the top drivers in this program. We couldn't expect anything less. So many of these drivers have come all the way through the ranks. Nikita, actually one of the drivers who's come through from USF Juniors. He was part of our very first year at USF Juniors. Last year moved up to USF 2000 late in the season. Got a win in USF Pro 2000 at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. First full season here in USF Pro. He's going through one and done. Tremendous talent. Checker flag flying. There it is. You can see to the right side there on the alternate timing line. All these drivers, this is it for them. Nikita's still on top. Dashelski 7th. Mossman up to 8th. Make that 6th and 7th respectively. Simon Sykes across the line. He goes quicker, but not able to go to the front row. Sykes now in 3rd. Dashelski 6th. Noah Ping up to 10th. DeTullio back to 11th. This driver's still coming across the line. Does anybody else emerge? Yeah, 1, 2 more cars emerging from 9. Back to the timing stripe. Van Berlo goes faster but doesn't move up a shot. All 3 Pabst drivers went quickest on lap 15, separated by just 0.2 of a second, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. A couple more drivers still to come. D-Force cars. There's the TJ Speed car as well. Just waiting for the final. Looks to be like Nikita Johnson going to come away, and he fastest lap and the best second fastest lap as well. So right now, Nikita Johnson on the pole for race 1 and provisionally for race number 2. Nikita Johnson, P1 with a 108.260. His second fastest lap, a 108.454. In fact, his second fastest lap would still have put him pole in race number 1, quicker than the best lap for Lockie Hughes. 108.485, over 0.2 of a second quicker was Johnson. Hughes second, he'll be on the outside of row number 1. Remember, a race win for Lockie Hughes
gives him the championship. If he finishes in front of Jace Denmark, he'll lock the championship up as well. Denmark must finish ahead of Hughes, and he'll start on the outside of row number 2 alongside his teammate Simon Sykes on the inside P3. Row 3 will have Glenn Van Berlo and Danny Dushelski. Row 4, Frankie Mossman and Cooper Becklin. And there's row 5, Liam Skeets and Noah Ping. Good run for Cooper Becklin, the local driver out of Portland. Going to start there, P8. Rest of the field, Alessandro Tutulio alongside Tyke Durst. Row 6, row 7, Nicolas Montiero and George Garcia-Arce, and Ricardo Escoto, who will start at the tail of the field in the number 77 for BN Racing. Well, there you have it, folks. Over 4 hours of USF Pro 2000 action for you. We kept things busy throughout the early part of the day. USF Juniors qualifying into the first race that was won by Liam McNeely. Practice and qualifying for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Not surprising, the point leaders rising to the front. We got a break. We're going to be back at 4 o'clock. 3 races for you to cap off the day. Hopefully it'll keep getting nicer and nicer with the weather. We are back at 4 o'clock with USF 2000, 5:15 with USF Pro 2000, and 6 o'clock tonight we'll cap it off. USF Juniors, their second race of a triple header here on Championship Weekend. Those of you tuning in live on the YouTube channel, thank you so much. We do appreciate that. Those of you doing the same on the mobile app, hopefully you're able to bring the USF Pro Championships to wherever you are. Maybe you're out camping, whatever you're doing. Always great to follow along everything on the app we have, the downloadable mobile app. But otherwise, we are done. Into it, all we have left is racing, folks. We got 3 races this afternoon, 3 more races tomorrow. No, 4 races for you tomorrow, 7 more races still to come. Lots of action here as part of this weekend's event. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, folks. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.